I recently read two memoirs by two Booker Prize winners, and here are my thoughts. Hi, my name is Florence, and welcome back to the One More Book podcast. Hope that you're all doing fine. I am doing slightly okay. I am down with a cold, hence the scarf, but I'm hoping to be better soon. And since I recently read these two books in March, I thought it would be the perfect time to talk about them before I put them on the side. So I hope that you enjoy this video. If you do, please give this video a like and let me know if you've read any of these books, or which memoirs have you read recently that have made an impact on you or on your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and share this video if you feel inspired by it. So I recently read these two memoirs. One is Manifesto on Never Giving Up by Bernardine Evaristo. And this is actually a signed copy because I met her when I went to Lagos last year. And the second memoir that I read, which I borrowed from a friend, is Mother Mary Comes to Me by Arundhati Roy. I borrowed this recently from a friend. I already gave it back. So I would say that from my point of view, I read both of the books in March, which is very interesting because they were both book club picks in two different book clubs that I'm in. And also in March, we celebrate Women's History Month. So it was really nice that I got to read two memoirs by these powerful authors, these powerful women. And I would say that both of these memoirs are deeply personal, political, and reflective. But I would say that that's where the similarities end. They each had very different voice, different structure, and a very different emotional texture. So a little bit about the authors. First of all, Bernardine Evaristo, who was born in 1959 in a small town called Eltham in southeast London. So that makes her about 69, 79, 89, 99, 2009, 2019. And now we are in 2020. Yeah, she's 67 and she was the fourth of 8 children. So she was the middle child. Her father was Nigerian, and her mother was English, or descended from the Irish, but she was English. And her father was a socialist, someone who went on to become the first black councillor for the Labour Party in this small town that they were living in. Even though he was very emotional distant, he was around as they were growing up, but he was really, really emotionally distant. So Bernardine Evaristo's first book was published in 1994, which was a collection of poems titled The Island of Abraham. I have not read it, but I would love to read it. And in 2019, her book Girl, Woman, Other, which I read I think in 2020, it was a hit. It was the book that won her the Booker Prize award, which she jointly shared with Margaret Atwood, something that I still side eye, like why couldn't she just win it on her own? And Margaret Atwood's book is called The Testament. I've never read it, have no interest in reading it. And this made her the first black woman and the first British author to ever win the prize. Very, very surprising. And from her own experience, from her own stories, she explains how the Booker Prize really, really changed her life. She received so many invitations for interviews, so many interviews, like she had not received this amount of requests for interviews in her whole life. And she won this prize at 60, which she is usually, even in the book, she talks about what people claim that she is an overnight success. She says, if you read this book, you can see she was not an overnight success. And I think that winning this prize at 60 really, really made it, like it really showed the value of never giving up on your dreams. this was a proof of it. And of course the book sold so many copies. She has been awarded over and over again, on different awards. She sits on different boards. She is doing so much. I really could see her socialist views. She's a fighter, and you could see that her parents gave her freedom to go for what she wanted. She was never asked or forced to go into a career that she wasn't interested in. So you can see just what a difference it makes when you let children follow their dreams. She was daring. She is still wild and disobedient, and she likes taking risks that she talks about, and she loves uplifting others. She uses her voice and her position, and she's very defiant, something that I wish I had more of in me. And on the other hand, when we meet Arundhati Roy, who actually has a Christian name called Susan, she was born in January, 24th of January in 1961 in a village called Shillong in India. She is one of two children, and her mother is called Mary, hence the name Mother Mary comes to me. Her mother is Mary Roy, who is a very renowned Indian women's rights activist. Her father was, I believe, a tea manager, a manager in a tea plantation, but he abandoned the family when they were still young. So she was actually raised by a single mother, a mother who turned out to be a monster. She studied architect, and her first book was published in 1996. She went on to win the Booker Prize Award for her book. Her book that won her the award is called, I'll put it here. I know the title. It just slipped my mind. So for her too, she talks about how winning this Booker Prize changed her life, and she was able to use this prize money not only to take care of her family and herself, but also to support a lot of initiatives that she was in. She is an activist through and through. She has even been jailed. She is a fighter, and she still lives in India fighting from the inside. So something that I found also similar in both of their stories is, one, their mothers were both teachers. Arundhati Roy's mother, Mother Mary, was actually a founder. She started a school from the ground up and built a school that is still existing until now. And Bernardine's mother, even with 8 children, she was also a teacher. Somehow she made it happen. And they both had emotionally unavailable fathers. They both hold very, very strong socialist views, which I absolutely adore, and they are really at the forefront of advocacy. They both acted in different areas. Bernardine Evaristo acted in theater. She went to theater school, and she even started a theater company, while Arundhati Roy was an actor in movies and in TVs. She even worked together with her ex-husband, who was also a film director. So she's performed in several films. And of course, both are Booker Prize winners, one in 1997 and the other in 2019. And both books were commercial successes and led to their overall successes in their lives as writers. But now when I break down the two books, when we look at the Manifesto, which is Bernardine Evaristo's memoir, it's more of a hybrid memoir and a motivational reflection. When you read it, you feel she uses a lot of motivational words. It's a very encouraging memoir, a very encouraging read, in which she focuses on her journey as a Black British writer who is navigating rejection. Of course, she was born in a majority white neighborhood, a majority white country. So she faced a lot of criticism, a lot of racism. So many doors were closed to her. So she really focuses on this journey, the journey of finding her identity, trying to know who she is as a mixed race person living in Britain and having really no contact with her family in Nigeria. And also persistence. She persisted. The memoir is generally she is very persistent from the word go. She is born a defiant person, and you see that until where she is now. And the central themes in it are, of course, resilience, creativity, how to survive as a creative, and of course, belief in self that carries her all throughout her life. On the other hand, Mother Mary Comes to Me is more of an introspective essay like memoir, which focuses on memory, the memory of her past life, of how she was, where she was born, and her life since then. She focuses on grief and, of course, politics. Politics really takes a big chunk of the book, and, of course, her relationship with her mother. The central themes in this memoir include the inheritance of emotions, the inheritance of political views, and of course, history. When we look at Bernardine Evaristo's memoir, her writing style is more direct, conversational, and very, very uplifting. She is very encouraging in her words. There are places where there's a place where she talks about falling down, bouncing, like you fall down but you're ready to bounce and start all over again. And it is structured in very short and punchy sections, like a manifesto, like the way it is titled. So it feels like she's talking to you and encouraging you and mentoring you to go on when you feel like giving up. She is there. It's something, a book that you can pick up when you feel like nothing is going the way you want it to go. It picks you up. She has it's like someone who has walked the path you're walking on and is giving you tips. While on the other hand, Mother Mary Comes to Me is more lyrical and more dense and quite layered. It is less linear when you compare it with Manifesto, and is more like a stream of memories and reflections. So it moves from one place to another. It's in the present and then it's in the past. So it feels a bit more intimate, but I felt like it was very demanding at times because I did not know, where am I? Where are we now? Is this how she feels now, or how did she feel when this happened? It was a bit choppy and a bit, I struggled a bit to follow it. Like I needed to really, really concentrate. It's not as easy to follow when I compare it to Bernardine Evaristo's memoir. And Bernardine Evaristo's emotional tone in her memoir is very hopeful and empowering and grounding. She talks about the life that she led when she decided she left home quite early, moved out, and just worked from the ground up, like her writing, the jobs she did, her working in theater. It's very encouraging as you read. She talks about the struggles that she went through, but they are framed in a way that feels like you have to go through them, but you are going to overcome them. Like you're not going to stay down forever. So it has a very motivational tone all throughout the book. On the other hand, Mother Mary Comes to Me is more melancholic, reflective, and feels really, really heavy from the word go. You start and it is boom, very, very emotional. And I think it's because it explores unresolved tensions between the different types of the different members of this family, between Arundhati Roy and her mother, her brother, her dad, her friends. Of course, all under these very heavy political times. There was so much happening in India at this time. There still is. So that follows you all throughout the book, and I think the book leaves you thinking. Yeah, it leaves you with questions rather than uplifting you. When I compare it to Manifesto, I kind of left not knowing who exactly Arundhati Roy is. There were just, yeah, I felt like there was more. There was more that I needed to know. And she didn't just give that to me. So it left me with, yeah, it left me thinking and just, yeah, I keep on thinking about it. In Bernardine Evaristo's memoir, she addresses themes like race, she addresses feminism, and of course, the struggles or the challenges that you face in the publishing industry. So, this is when I look at it from the political and social lens. We see an underlying presence of politics all throughout the book, but it is more tied to personal growth and to her career as a writer. It is more The memoir is more outward facing because it kind of analyzes her life, and she gives these tips on for the reader to to learn how to navigate the world. Like, you can take these tips and apply them to your life, no matter what kind of path you're on. While on the other hand, Arundhati Roy's memoir is, I felt, more strongly political. She really goes into India's history. Like, I would say almost two-thirds of the book is goes into the history of India, and she goes into her activism, what she has done, her thoughts, because she writes a lot of essays, which she shared parts of in the book. She addresses state power, and her personal life is actually inseparable from politics. It's so much intertwined. So this memoir to me was more inward facing. She was looking more into herself and what is important to her, what her values are. It's more about her than about the reader. A Manifesto, the memoir, is structured in a way that it is fragmented. Like, it's not like physically parted, like cut into different parts, but it's more like it's structured in a way that there are partitions, just not like physical ones, but as you read it, it moves from one part of her life to the next. But it's very intentional. So that makes it very easy to dip in and out. You can put it down and pick it up. There's no, like, you won't feel like you've missed something or you can't remember where you were. There is a clear progression from the struggle to her success. It's like very, very direct. But when it comes to Arundhati Roy's memoir, it's more fluid and non-linear. It moves because she talks about her past and her present, and then she remembers what happens a few years ago and she relates it to what her mom said. So she moves between past and present without clear boundaries, and it requires a slower and more attentive read so that you can follow what is going on and remember, okay, this is where I am. If you put it down, you have to go back and find out, where did I stop and how is this connected. That makes it a bit more, you require more an intense, you have to be intense and an attentive. It's an intensive read. You need to read it more intensively. So in conclusion, I would say that if you are a creative person, someone like me, who is looking for motivational, a motivational read, a quick and easy read, but also a read that is still meaningful and is a memoir that like pushes you forward and encourages you and gives you hope, then I would highly, highly recommend Manifesto on Never Giving Up by Bernardine Evaristo. It spoke to me as a creative. I felt like this is a book I need. I needed before, but I'm so glad that I have it now, and I think I will need it even in future. It's something that I can always go back to, because yeah, it's a manifesto of on never giving up. While on the other hand, if you are looking for a more literary and reflective reading experience, if you're looking for a memoir that explores family and politics, and a book that makes you sit with conflicting thoughts, you want to like take a break and sit and think about it and then go on, then I would recommend that you read Mother Mary Comes to Me. I rated one of these books a 3 stars, and the other one I gave a 4 stars. So can you guess which one I gave 3 and which one I rated 4? Please put it in the comment section below. And yeah, I would recommend both books, but just for different reading experiences. I enjoyed both books, but I just had a different reading experience with each one of them, which is expected because they are memoirs from two different amazing authors, amazing women who I can't wait to read more from. So let me know in the comment section, yeah, which one you thought I gave a 4 and which one I gave a 3 stars. And if you have read any of these books, let me know in the comment section. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, see you in my next video. Bye.